Okay, welcome everyone to EcoSchools US, Local Action for National Impact. My name is Sarah Coles, and I am the Executive
It to
Director
this
of the
side.
Texas Children in Nature Network. I'm going to go ahead and
See
remind
if you
everyone
see
to mute
chat.
themselves if they are not one of our presenters. We are recording our session today, so thank you so much for joining us. To save bandwidth for our attendees and for a clean recording, we ask everyone to turn off their cameras and mute themselves during the presentation. I will be monitoring the chat so you can share your questions there, and I'll share them with our presenters during the question and answer time. Please remember to keep your comments kind. As I said, we're recording. I'll share the recording in a follow-up email. If you're uncomfortable with your name showing, you can change your name to anonymous and then private message me with your name for our attendance. If your Zoom name doesn't match the name you registered with, please change your name or let me know. If you are in need of a certificate and we do not have your name, we will not be able to provide you with a certificate. And
I don't need a certificate.
um, just a reminder, if you need a certificate, you will need to follow the directions that are in the email that you received with this Zoom link. I'm going to go ahead and do our land acknowledgement. Texas Children in Nature Network is headquartered in Austin, and as such, I'm on the ancestral and unceded land of the Tonkawa, Comanche, and Sauna people. Our ongoing colonial presence on Indigenous lands compels us to take action now to counteract the effects of colonization. The work we do through the Texas Children in Nature Network is one small step towards that effort. And in just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and put a few links about those people groups in the chat. Now I'd like to go ahead and welcome our speakers today. Karen Bishop is the Senior Manager of Education for Sustainability at the National Wildlife Federation. Jennifer Hammonds is the Educator for Education for Sustainability Director. The National Wildlife Federation, Kari Wilcher is the Outdoor Education Teacher at Carver Elementary. Bryan County Public Schools in Georgia, and Laure is an early childhood inclusion teacher at Terra Center Elementary in Fairfax County Public Schools. And Carsen Daniel is a sustainability coordinator and manager at Austin Independent School District. Thank you so much for joining us today, and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. I'm Karen Bishop, as Sarah said, Senior Manager, Education for Sustainability with the National Wildlife Federation, located in Austin, Texas. And I'm excited to share the EcoSchools US program with you today. We'll explore how teachers and district staff are using EcoSchools to complete local actions that lead to national impact. We have an hour together, and we will do two quick and interactive breakout sessions, one at the start of this webinar and one at the end if time allows. If you're comfortable, feel free to turn your camera on during those breakout sessions. It helps us all connect better. For now, if you'd like, please say hi in the chat with your name, your school organization, and the city you live in if you haven't already. And also joining us today is Jennifer Hammonds, our Education Sustainability Director. Jennifer, would you like to say hello?
Hi, everybody, and welcome. So happy to be here with you on this Saturday morning and look forward to hearing from you and our presenters and getting everyone familiar with EcoSchools, inspired and motivated for a new year.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Jennifer is also going to be fielding our Q&A, so feel free to add some questions to the chat there. We also have three wonderful panelists joining us today, and I'll introduce them soon. So now we're going to do the quick breakout as promised to get ideas flowing. We will do breakouts in random pairs here, and you will have just 2 minutes to introduce yourself and talk about these two things you see on the screen. The first, what is your vision for sustainability on campus this year? Or if you are a nonprofit or school district, what projects or programs do you envision for this year? And any exciting goals or changes that you see on the horizon. So we'll go ahead and do the quick pair breakout for 2 minutes, and then we'll all come back together.
You should see an invitation to join a breakout room in your pop-up on your screen. If you don't see it, it may be behind your Zoom. So go ahead and minimize the Zoom, and then you should see the button to join your breakout room. Jessica, it looks like you're having some trouble joining your breakout room. I would try minimizing. If you want to come off of mute, we can try and maybe help you. Same with Melissa. I see you're having trouble joining our breakout room. And Madeline, Elizabeth. Um,
I was in my breakout room and nobody showed up.
okay, there's still lots of folks that are having trouble getting into their breakout rooms. So go ahead and go, and we're trying to get everyone in their room.
Okay.
Sorry, unable to join a breakout room right now, multitasking.
No worries. I think we're mostly set up now.
Hello, those of you joining us, we're in breakout rooms right now. We'll be back in our main group in just a minute.
Thank you for handling this, Sarah. I know there's a lot of people.
Thank you to folks if you're just joining us. We're just getting out of breakout rooms and we'll be back in the main group in just a minute. Okay, everyone should be back, Karen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are going to move on. I know that was fast, but please put in an emoji in the chat that symbolizes your vision so far, or how you're feeling about your goals. Or if you feel like writing a comment, that's okay too. So you have options, but please keep the thoughts you have shared in mind, and we will come back to them later in the session. So now a little bit about National Wildlife Federation. NWF is the largest member-supported conservation education organization in the US. Our mission is to unite all Americans to ensure wildlife and people thrive in a rapidly changing world. We accomplish this through programs that get the public engaged on a very personal level. Programs like our Certified Wildlife Habitat Program help homeowners, business owners, and schools be recognized for efforts to create habitat for a variety of wildlife. Schools can certify as an NWF schoolyard habitat for free. This recognition means that you have created a habitat for wildlife like the monarch butterfly that you are also using for outdoor learning. Your school can also choose to receive a metal sign like the one you see here at Rudder Middle School in San Antonio. If you are a Monarch Heroes grant program school with us this year, you will receive a free sign to display in your habitat once you have certified your garden this spring. EcoSchools offers a certification program for elementary through secondary schools that supports school communities as they assess, track, and celebrate their commitment to sustainability. In 2008, the National Wildlife Federation applied to be the host of the International EcoSchools program that's developed and coordinated by the Foundation for Environmental Education. The following year, we received host status for EcoSchools US and started programming. After 15 years now, we've had over 7,000 schools participate. And shout out to Ari, I saw you on the call. This is an action team shot from Navarro High School in Austin. This is a team implementing an action project at Millway High School in Houston. And this is Patton Elementary, again here in Austin, celebrating their green flag. A unified, healthy, resilient, and safe campus increases student and teacher engagement, embeds sustainability values into school culture, and activates the school as a community hub of sustainability knowledge. Students in the EcoSchools US program will join a global movement of environmental leaders. They'll develop STEAM skills through real projects in their local area. They'll conduct systems level thinking on climate change, biodiversity, and habitat conservation, implement community-centered solutions, advocate for climate justice, connect with their community, all in demonstration of their commitment to a more sustainable future through action. So how do you become a successful EcoSchool? It all starts with our two foundational pieces, the EcoSchools US Framework and the EcoSchools US Themes. These are your tools. They guide your journey and help you stay aligned with your goals through the year. The framework is used by every EcoSchool around the world in over 100 countries, and it helps them reach the goals set by their student-led action teams. There are 7 elements in the framework, you see them here, such as developing an action plan and identifying curriculum connections. Our panelists will do a deeper dive on a few others of these today. So now we'll talk briefly about our EcoSchools US themes, which are wildlife and biodiversity, climate change, and healthy and resilient communities. Every action card within our platform, whether that is hosting a monarch butterfly town hall, the Cool School Challenge, or low to no waste school events, is sorted by one of these themes. They are color-coded, so it's easy to see how each action connects to part of the bigger picture. When you log in, the first thing you'll see is your dashboard. And I know it's very small, but it's your home base, and it shows your progress and has a what's new section that is updated monthly. The progress bar you see at the top here, you have these different colored dots, helps you track your points and gives you a sense for the certification level you could currently apply for. The what's new section that's down below is split into 3 parts. On the left, you'll find resources and communications considerations. In the center are tools and tips that help you make progress on your action plan. And on the right are larger campaigns and programs, as well as quick reads from National Wildlife Federation magazine or Ranger Rick magazine that help connect to current conservation, science, art, and people-centered stories. And don't miss the bottom of the page down here. There you will find important dates like the annual certification window and the green flag questionnaire deadline, which basically is acknowledging your plan to achieve our highest recognition in any given year. Your action plan and action cards together are your record of activities that enable you to apply for recognition. So notice that these 3 cards at the top have little orange circles with locks on them. They're locked cards, and we'll come back to them in a minute. These 3 other cards down below are pulled from our action card library, which has over 50 different action cards to choose from. Choosing which cards to include in your plan is a great activity to kick off your team for the school year. Each action card, here's an example, is set up exactly the same way. At the top, you have information about what the card is going to cover, as well as curriculum connections and other extensions and photos. Then there are 3 drop-down menus. The action guide includes information about materials, tips, and suggestions for how to get started for those who need them. The next one is a drop-down of resource links. And then the final one is certification questions. So your school gets points towards certification by answering the questions found in this last drop-down menu, and there are usually about 8 to 15. For the 3 locked cards, they are required and directly connected to the EcoSchools framework. Tell Your EcoSchools US story is about reflection, communication, and celebrating what you've accomplished over the year. Create an Eco Code is a creative piece that represents your school's EcoSchools journey. So it can be a mission statement, an artwork, a poem, something that you can use regularly to share your work. And then About Your EcoSchools program summarizes the who, what, when, where, and why of your school's participation and shows the depth of your whole school's involvement. A school can achieve one of 4 certification levels annually. There's the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the green flag. As you complete action cards throughout the school year, you will earn points, and the depth and extent of which you complete those will determine the school's final certification level. When a school becomes a certified eco school, you'll receive a seal that looks exactly like these. It's digital, that you can display on your school's website, social media accounts, newsletters, and in your email signature. So why certify? So this is where I'm going to hand things over to our panelists. They're going to walk us through in depth 3 of the 7 elements of the EcoSchools US framework and how these elements have benefited their school community. Quick here, shout out pictures. We've got Kuntz Elementary in San Antonio doing a biodiversity assessment. And then we've got Small Middle School here sharing their green flag successes and then a green flag raising here in this last photo. So we are joined by 2 amazing educators, Kari Wilcher and Laure Grove, and a Rockstar School District staff member, Carsen Daniel. Kari and Laure will speak to developing an action team and engaging the community, and Carsen will talk about how at the district level, it can be valuable to take action, collect data, measure impact, and tell stories. So first up, we have Kari. Kari Wilcher is an outdoor educator in Richmond Hill, Georgia, and a member of the Environmental Education Alliance of Georgia. She teaches outdoor education, which is recreation and environmental education, as a 45-minute specials class to 675 4th and 5th graders. And she leads Carver's EcoSchools action team called the Guardians of the Triangle during an enrichment period called Camp Wildcat. So Kari, I turn things over to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Carver's really excited to share about our experience and our quest for the green flag this year. I'm going to talk about how we formed our action team and the impact it had on our school and our school culture. If you want to share our first slide. So Carver Elementary is very fortunate that we have a specials class called outdoor education, and during outdoor education, just like art, music, PE, and STEM, students get 45 minutes in their outdoor education class. And outdoor education at Carver is environmental education plus recreation. And when I was creating our focus of outdoor ed this year, students wanted to do several things. First, we wanted to find out what lived at Carver, meaning species. We wanted to create more habitat at our school, and those were the goals for outdoor education. But our school had an overall school goal. And in the year 23-24, at the end of the school year, we asked students how they felt about being at school. And some students said that they weren't happy at school, they weren't happy coming to school, they didn't find joy in school. And as a school, we wanted to improve that for our students. We wanted to have them create an opportunity for a sense of ownership and pride and joy and wanting to be at our school. So we found that EcoSchools would give our school the opportunity to improve our school overall culture and climate, because it gives us students an opportunity for service learning and student leadership. So the mission of our action team was to create this culture of stewardship within our school and to also improve school culture. So when creating an action team, we had to decide who was going to be on the action team, what opportunities for leadership did students have, when did our action team meet, and how and when the actions are completed. So for our action team, our school structurally has 3 long hallways, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So we decided naturally that we would have 3 action teams that made up one big action team. We also have an opportunity on each morning. So 4,000 meets on Tuesday, 5,000 Wednesday, 6,000 Thursday for 30 minutes. And during those 30 minutes, our action team gets together, and that's a connection period. And students meet, we call it Camp Wildcat. And this is where our action team plans our actions. It's where we develop student leadership through team building. And it also gives students an opportunity to create like a culture of leadership within themselves. And also it's when we complete our actions. Our actions are also completed during outdoor education class. So our action team is made up of kids who are leaders and kids who need leadership. And what that means at Carver is we gave our teachers an opportunity to nominate students who were natural leaders. They may have been members of the student leadership team, or they may have just been natural leaders in the classroom. And then for kids who need leadership, these students were nominated by our school counselor, school administration, and they're students who thrive in small group culture. They're students who would thrive with opportunities to shine and needed a purpose or a goal for the day. And these students might also have needs where they would do better in a small group and working on a project together. So it's kids who are leaders and kids who need leadership. And our action team is also made up of adult leaders as well. At Carver, one thing that made our action team really successful and helped make it part of our overall school culture and made it a school-wide effort is that we gave our action team an identity. Our school campus, we're only 4th and 5th grade, but there's 2 other schools on our campus, and we're actually called the Tri-Schools. We're the oldest school. The other 2 schools are K1, 2, and then grades 2, 3, and then we're 4, 5. And so we became guardians of the triangle. And we chose the word guardians because it captures that spirit of stewardship and conservation. So giving your action team an identity and also giving your action team a mission or a purpose. Our mission was to improve school culture and overall spirit of stewardship. We made sure that our action team had opportunities for regularly scheduled weekly meetings. This is something that you can also do monthly. And then we gave opportunities for student leaders. Our students looked at our actions and they themselves came up with their own roles as captains. And so some of the roles that they created were compost captain, so it could be action specific. That one was for vermiculture and composting. Tech Canva captains, research captain, communications captain, documentation captain. We even had a student say that she would be our cheerleader, and because she was good at encouraging others. So giving students an opportunity to create their own leadership roles and titles based on what they feel is their own strengths, and giving your action team letting students have ownership and being in charge of the whole process. And adults only act as facilitators. Sometimes when we take on projects at school as teachers, it can be overwhelming, and sometimes we don't want a lot of different things on our plate. But if you let your action team and your students guide you through your whole EcoSchools process and give students ownership, it will truly be student-led. And I think that it also creates this, for Carver, giving the students, this is their project, and they had more pride in it and took more ownership, and it was more meaningful to them. So adults only act as facilitators. At Carver, we wanted to create a spirit of stewardship that was school-wide, and it became a part of our daily conversation and expectations. And one thing that we did was, young children don't really know what stewardship is, but they do know that it means I'm taking care of something. And we wanted students to realize that stewardship is not just saving the earth, but it's also taking care of our school campus, our friends, ourselves, our family. We were supported by our school counselor in small group settings and character development programming that she does, and also by giving us this identity. I'm a guardian. I take care of my school. I take care of the earth. It gives students ownership, and it also provided students an opportunity for service learning. When developing our eco code, when you look at the actions, it looks like on the surface that the eco code is the easiest action that you can do. It's something that could be quick and easy, and it might be something that you want to begin with. Carver decided to make this a year-long project and do our EcoCode at the end. And so what we did was students throughout the year, during opportunities when it was raining or you needed a time filler, teachers would have students create messaging that was on conservation and stewardship. So students constantly, continually had this development of our EcoCode for the whole entire year. And I love that one of our students said that people save the world, but Carver will do anything for the earth. And that kind of captures the spirit of conservation and stewardship that the EcoSchools gave us. It really became a part of their heart and their mindset and their thinking. Our EcoCode, I need to do the next slide. Our EcoCode was an acrostic poem. And again, this took a year for us to develop, but it's very appropriate for an elementary school. Students, when we created each line, they knew they wanted to talk about caring for the earth and recycling and reducing waste and being kind to nature and saving energy. And so it kind of shaped it. This is something that we worked on all year long. We're really proud of it. It's we have it posted as a poster in the hallways. Also, teachers are giving this, they hang it in their classroom. It's something that we look at, and we can also share that on our school news. And this EcoCode, that action will take you through walking through your EcoCode together, and it gives you examples from other schools and how other schools have done this. But I encourage you to make the EcoCode a part of a year-long process and not just a quick action that you can do when you begin. And the EcoCode itself, if you want to change to the next slide, this is the impact that our EcoCode and our action team had in our school. At the end of the year, students said that they were more connected to nature. They also reported that they enjoyed being at school more. So it improved our school culture and environment. Students felt like they had a purpose or a job, and this was incredibly meaningful to our students. And they were very proud that they earned the green flag, and they were proud of all of our actions and that they did it themselves. And so it was very empowering for them. Overall, we saw a decrease in student referrals. We also saw improvements on our school campus and habitats. We saw an 18% increase in overall fifth grade science test scores. So these actions that we completed contributed to that. And we also saw an increase in community engagement and volunteers on our school campus. So joining EcoSchools was really impactful for Carver. And as you can see, it created this culture of stewardship and conservation that was school-wide. But most important, kids felt more connected to nature and they enjoyed being at school more. I want to encourage you that when you create your action team, if you're just a teacher and you're going to implement EcoSchools just in your classroom and you're striving for bronze, or if you're striving for silver or gold and you're not yet ready to be at the green flag level, I want to encourage you with a quote from George Washington Carver, our namesake at Carver Elementary. And it's start where you are with what you have. Make something of it and never be satisfied. As a facilitator for EcoSchools, if you remember that, just start with what you have. Begin with, you can begin with just a few students and just a few actions. And don't be satisfied with that. Go to the next level and see what you can do. So I just encourage you with that. If you have any questions, you can email me at kwilcher@bryan.k12.ga.us, and that URL, tinyurl.com/Carver Green Flag, is actually our green flag portfolio of work. So you can go through our action projects. You can see how our action team was formed, and you can also see how we achieved our EcoCode there. So I leave you with that, and I hope that this inspires you to join the EcoSchools as a participant and get started on that first bronze level.
Kari, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And I love the connections too with social emotional learning, connecting with your counselor. Thank you for sharing all of that. Jennifer, did we have a question or two that you think would be good to ask now, or shall we move on?
Yes, there is one question that I think would be good for everyone to hear. And are a lot of these ideas that Kari presented found in the action card. So within the library, are schools going to find, some of these ideas that Kari shared?
I can answer to that.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. These are listed in your in the action cards. So when you click on the action cards, it'll have like a gallery of ideas from other schools, and then it'll also list suggestions that you can do. And the EcoSchools, the entire action cards can be a standalone program for your whole school, based on, and you can choose if you want which focus that you would like. So yeah, it outlines it for you.
Thanks, Kari.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now we'll hear from Laure Grove. So Laure was born and raised in Virginia. She started teaching in 2009, and her first school was a Green Flag recipient. Her current school is as well, she says, but she said it's been a journey since before COVID, connecting their students, staff, and community with the environment. So Laure, if you're ready, I'll hand things to you.
Absolutely. So, hi everyone. I'm going to be speaking to you about, go ahead and go to the next slide, how you connect your students with a larger community. So it's kind of a build off of what Kari presented. You've got your team of students ready to go. They've got some ideas. And now what do we do? So that's kind of what I'm addressing today. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Karen. So, as stated previously, my current school is a Green Flag winner for the past couple years. But last year was kind of an epic year for us. If you could go to the next slide, and I'll kind of address some of those amazing things and who was involved in those actions. So, one of the action cards was the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. We have, in our second grade and pre-K classes, a big monarch lesson in science, and we wanted to go the next steps last year. And so we really had the kids look at what action cards are available. We already did previous ones, but this new one, the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, the Mayor's Monarch Pledge has been around forever, but this one really takes student action to the next level with our local government. And so the students researched and they found out that our local government has never taken the pledge. So they were very passionate about making sure that our local government was taking actions to preserve and conserve, habitats and the population that was depleting. So anywhere from persuading letters that the second graders wrote to a pomp and circumstance parade, bringing together our local government, our huge school district, school board members and regional principals. We put on this huge event led by the students, and even had our local government official raise his right hand and make a promise to the children that he was committed to making a change in our entire county. And sure enough, a couple of months later, he presented a policy to the entire county that was voted upon and elected as action that will continue for years to come. And the next thing we know, there was already a no-mow zone local pollinator garden on one of our large roadways just around the corner from his office and not too far from our school. So let's talk about how on earth we got there with all these community people. If you could go to the next slide. So I think when we think about our community as educators, we tend to think, okay, what's in our school building? But there's a little bit more beyond that. Let's talk about and break down what's in our school building. That can be anywhere between our students, their families. It could be our school staff that are actually in our building. It could be the PTA and the PTO. I'm not quite sure which your school does, but they also get tied in to help with before and after school initiatives. And then you have to think about, okay, if you're an elementary school, who's your middle school? Who's your high school? Because all of those students and staff in those feeder schools around you are part of your community and can do projects with your children. In addition to that, think about your district employees as your actual school district system. I guarantee you, if you have a cafeteria, you have a trash trash pickup and removal. You have some sort of landscaping crew, custodial crew. You actually have these people in your district that you can tap into to connect your students with, to answer questions, to help drive a project, okay? In addition to that, beyond those, some school districts, like Kari and myself and the next presenter, we have fancy people, fancy departments that are able to provide us with some environmental education support as well. But not all school districts have that. That's okay though, because you can go beyond that. We do a lot at my school and in my school district tying into our Scouts, religious group, and Native land groups as well. Specifically at my school, our Girl Scouts and our Boy Scouts do a lot of their Eagle Scout, their silver and gold projects with our students who have an idea but really need those older kids to help build to get them started. And then our religious groups are always eager to help support the students in schools. I guarantee you there are community groups out there in which your students are involved with that want to help your school. Tap into them because they can either help you with time, labor, or sometimes even financially. Now, if you look at the screen, the white box underneath is beyond your building. Okay, so this is beyond your students, family, and staff within your school and your district. So, local businesses, and this could be commercial, this could be small businesses. If you have a project that you're thinking of, oh, wow, I really need this resource, the kids can write letters and go and drop them off at those businesses. And I guarantee you, those businesses want to help and they will do something for you. For example, we needed food grade 5-gallon plastic bins for our in-ground vermiculture composting. Okay, those bins are expensive. So we coincidentally found out at a farmer's market, our local farmer's market, that our bakery across the street gets honey and butter delivered and they have an excess amount. The students wrote letters, they donated 16 of those tubs. Bam, free right there. So there are tons of ways for you to kind of think outside of the box of your local businesses. We collect film plastic. The students go to the local 7-Eleven. A couple of the other local businesses across the street from our school and collect that film that would otherwise, due to their audit, they found go in the trash. So lots of ways to connect with local businesses. We do a lot of connection with farmers. I will say that there has been a lot of adult support on finding those local farmers for the students to interact with, whether it was sheep farmers, it was actual crop farmers, or hydroponic farmers. We've made a lot of connections for those farmers to help support the students with either growing information or actual supplies donated. Now, environmental educators. I'm going to tie environmental educators and local government kind of together with public works staff and agencies because in your county, I guarantee you with the municipal agencies that you have, whether it's stormwater, it's wastewater, it's your water plants, it's your trash and waste removal people, there are always going to be an educational outreach person, okay? You, as the environmental educator supporting your children, need to find out who those people are and connect them with your kids because then your kids get excited to learn about these people who have jobs in this field that they're learning about, but they also get to ask a million questions that, face it, we don't know all the answers to. And then, even if they don't know an answer to it, they know the next scientist or the next government person to reach out to get that information for you. And then you have now networked and found even more people to support your students' learning growth. Okay? All right. Now the next group is looking at your regional nonprofit and organizations. So maybe this is looking at your local parks and rec, your state, and your national. Maybe it's a ranger that comes to your school and meets with your kids. Maybe you do a field trip out. Rangers have a lot of great knowledge. In our county, we also have a lot of native species organizations that help us with growing plants and bringing them to our public lands. So I guarantee you there is something that you just need to really start looking at and digging up people to help your students because we don't know everything. We need to bring in those fancy people to help us. So, community, which is a big part of one of the sections of each action plan, is who did you involve to support your children, is not just the people in your building. All right, next slide, Karen. Whew, that was a big one. Okay, so I think I kind of went over the first few steps of this. Your kids are going to work with your eco team, like Kari said, and you're going to kind of connect them with really with other people that are inside and outside of your building community. And then the kids are going to do an action, right? You're all the time networking and trying to find more people to help support your children. And once they've actually completed an action card, you need to show it off. Show it up. Have them send it to your local government people. Have them send it to your district people. Post it on social media if you get permission. Because the more you show it off, the more recognition your students will get, and the more they'll get excited about doing something else. And the more that you will probably be a model school for another school. But most importantly, it will keep those connections you have made coming back. One fun thing that we do at my school is we give those special guests that come and help us with the students a school t-shirt. They love it. Every time they come back again, and this could be year to year, they wear that t-shirt because they love us now. So just little tiny things like that get those really cool people coming back again and again. Anywhere from a freshwater ecologist, saltwater ecologist, to our geologists, our master gardeners, our master naturalists. There are all those people in all your districts. You just got to find them. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so my connections that just had an overall snowball effect was starting with a classroom pet. I got contacted by my principal. Hey, a parent wants to donate a leopard gecko to our school. Can you do something about this? Of course, I'm the Dr. Doolittle of the school. No problem. Take him in. We voted on a name for this gecko, and he's Picasso. Come to find out, the owner's wife was an entomologist. If you guys don't know what an entomologist is, she studies bugs. And she studies bugs for our local county. So that was my little shoe in to learning all about how our local county has all these kick butt scientists that are willing to connect with students and schools. So all it takes is just a little digging and you will open your door for your students. All right. I think I tried to go as fast as possible and try to give as much encouraging statements here. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to share. The pictures underneath are, some of our groups. On the left is a freshwater ecologist helping us establish a native fish tank that is local to just our area with inhabitants and plants, aquatic and plant life. In addition, the middle one is our amazing geologist that comes in and gives soil and erosion talk to our grade levels. And on the right is a master naturalist that we've got that comes back every season to work with our students in our pollinator gardens. So if there's any questions, we can move on.
Great. Thank you so much, Laure. Great to hear the stories and how things evolved over time. This is phenomenal. Jennifer, is there a question or two that you think is good for now?
There's one about registration, so I can say that to the end because I definitely want to be sure Carsen has her full time.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. All right. We had one more slide here, Laura.
I know. I didn't know if I have enough time.
All right.
Why don't we talk? Keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Thanks, Laure. All right. Now we're going to launch over to Carsen Daniel. Carsen is the Sustainability Coordination Manager at Austin ISD, where she supports district-wide sustainability projects and communications that build a culture of environmental awareness and action at AISD schools and its communities. Prior to AISD, she managed client projects and communications for a consultancy focused on food systems and sustainability, and coordinated advocacy and legislative activities for a bipartisan think tank. Carsen holds a degree in public policy leadership with minors in environmental studies and Southern studies. Carsen, if you are ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, like Karen said, I'm the Sustainability Coordination Manager at Austin Independent School District, and I'm going to share how AISD is going to be formalizing our partnership with NWF EcoSchools to activate green teams in support of district and campus policies and goals. And hearing Kari and Laure speak on how this works in the schools is so exciting, and it makes me even more ready to implement this program. So next slide. So in an effort to formalize and activate green teams across the district, I'm working with my supervisor, Darian Cleary, Director of Sustainability, and our outdoor learning, design, and activation specialist, Mandy Goldman, to bring NWF EcoSchools and introduce this platform to all 114 of our campuses. So as a sustainability team, it's formally just Darian and myself, so we're very small. And we work closely with several other departments, including campus educators, custodial services, food services, urban forestry, transportation, construction management, facilities maintenance, and more, as well as community partners to accomplish our sustainability goals. Next slide. So Austin ISD sustainability, we embrace sustainability as a driving force behind AISD's mission to prepare every student with the knowledge and skills to thrive in college, career, and life. And sort of our mantra as a sustainability team is that the philosophies of education sustainability at AISD are the same, each center around the ability of our students to thrive in the future. So sustainability at AISD is dynamic and nuanced. It's not just environmental conservation, although that's a huge part of it. We must also take into account finances, especially given our budget deficit and the fact that energy bills are the second highest operating costs for our school district behind facilities. So we look for either money saving or ideally money generating solutions. And we must also take into account all the diverse communities that we serve. Next slide. And on that last page was our sustainability website too, where all of this information is, and it just got a revamp, so it's great. And so green teams are championed in the 2010 AISD board resolution, support the 2011 environmental sustainability policy, and are encouraged in your annual campus improvement plan. Sorry, there's a typo. So this QR code brings you to the 2011 board policy, which was passed in 2011 and states that AISD is committed to ensuring responsible stewardship of energy, water, and natural resources, creates healthy environments for teaching and learning, supports sustainability as an economic, environmental, and social priority to be taught and practiced throughout the district. And we believe that forming green teams and especially utilizing the EcoSchools Framework is one way to accomplish each of these goals in that policy. We're also using campus improvement plans. So this has been in the past. Campuses have had the option to add a sustainability portion to their campus improvement plans, but we've revamped that this year. So each year, the principal and campus advisory council develop, review, and revise a campus improvement plan. And the purpose is to improve student performance on the state's student achievement indicators for all student populations. And it must be supportive of objectives of the district's overall strategic plan. And as many of us know, outdoor learning and sustainability programming can oftentimes support these plans and student achievement on the state's tests and things like that. And so we see sustainability, especially green teams, as a way to support several of the key goals of campus improvement plans, such as student well-being and achievement, teacher and employee well-being, fiscal stewardship, prioritization, and culture and respect. And so on this timeline, you can also see even more monuments of sustainability at Austin ISD, including the formalization of the Environmental Stewardship Advisory Committee, also known as the ESAC, Green building standards, which at the end of this bond will have over 50% of our schools are either LEED, Austin Energy Green Building, or Austin Energy Green Building certified, which is amazing. So over, I've only been at the district for 10 months, but over these past 10 months, there have been several times where we wanted to track information, map amenities at campuses, or just know what our schools are up to when it comes to sustainability programming. And often we find out what our schools are doing on one-off visits to campuses. Like, for example, we went to Ann Richards, which is a young women's leadership academy. And we were doing a tree planting with HEB to celebrate a store opening. And we just like had to go inside to wash our hands when we were leaving. And one teacher let us in and he's like, "Oh, I'm leading an entire green building project for my students where they're building school replicas of how to make their schools more green." And we're like, we didn't even know about this and we wouldn't have unless we had to wash our hands after the tree planting. So there are things like that where we're excited to track everything that's happening and have it all in one place and be able to offer specialized support for our teachers. Thank you. So we are using EcoSchools US at Austin ISD because we want to, like I said, streamline activation of green teams. There's no like formalized plan or rubric sort of to activate green teams. We want to engage students, faculty, staff, and community members. We want to track progress, award incentives and certifications, and support campus green teams. We see that EcoSchools US at AISD this year will hopefully inform campus improvement plans, formalize and structure campus green teams. We have a new pilot program with limited stipends that I'll be getting to a little later in more detail. That will be a cohort of 20 teachers from across the district. With that, we're also offering professional development twice a year, and then overall increased environmental awareness, campus engagement, and sustainability programming, which is the goal of the sustainability team. And since these are annual accolades, we're excited to bring this like long-term sustainable approach and integration to schools, culture, and operations. And those on the last slide, those are 3 green school campuses, Patton, Eastside, and Odom. It's okay. Yeah, thanks. All right, next. So this is our sustainability framework at Austin ISD. We have 8 action areas and 3 pillars that we want to utilize all of our action areas within these 3 pillars. We believe that using the NWF EcoSchools platform to activate green teams, streamline processes, and map data, we'll be able to offer support in all of these action areas through our pillars of teaching and learning, infrastructure and operations, and community engagement. Also, having schools choose their own action plans based off campus's abilities and needs will be extremely beneficial in offering equitable sustainability programming across the school district. We've also vetted some EcoSchools action cards that align with our sustainability plan. So we have this overall sustainability plan with each of these action areas that we update every year. And so in order to align green teams with the sustainability goals, we've sort of pre-selected some action cards that we would love if teachers and educators would choose from the pre-selected action cards so that we can even further support the goals in each of these action areas sustainability plans. And since the categories of the action card library coincide with our pillars, we hope that each school we ask that everyone in this, or we also ask that everyone in this cohort of our first Green Team Leads Collaborative, that they will, after this year, train 2 more teachers. So we have 20 teachers in this first, or we will have teachers in this first collaborative. And so after that, we're hoping we'll have 2 teachers of each of those trained. So what is that? Like 60 teachers? I can't even do that math right now. But we're hoping that, over 50% of our school district next year will be enrolled in this program. Next slide, please. Thank you. So at AISD, we offer many kinds of assistance to our schools, including our Sustainable Schools course, which is available to any staff member at Austin ISD. That is created in partnership with EcoRise and AISD STEM. We also have the Greenies Google Chat, which is an AISD chat for all staff members that are interested in sustainability programming or just want to share ideas, celebrate each other's accomplishments. We also have the sustainability website, which, as I mentioned, is newly updated, so it's more relevant and has up-to-date programs, partners, trainings, information in an ever-changing environment. We also have Action Area 1 pagers, which are in this QR code. This is our public access Green Teams toolkit, and we have all of our Action Area 1 pagers in there, which gives you more information on partners and programming in each of our 8 action areas. We also have partner connections. That's a huge part of our website, and especially our Earth Week website is partners that are doing sustainability program in our schools already and how to contact them. And we also love one-on-one support, so you're always welcome to reach out to us. And then for Green Team specialized support, like I said, this year we're having our first cohort of Green Team leads, and we are offering professional development and trainings. There are grant-funded stipends for 10 to 15 schools, 20 teachers in total, which is new this year. And then we have our Green Teams Toolkit, which is sort of everything in this webinar put into one place for our Green Team leads. Next.
Carsen, sorry to interrupt. We have just a few minutes left. Do you mind if I jump to the project spotlight slide?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is from Odom Elementary School. This is an example of of funding partnerships. So this is Odom Elementary. Let me get to my notes on this slide. There were public spaces that were in use at Odom Elementary School, and students, 5th graders, came together and decided to turn one of those spaces into a soccer field. And they did this through getting an EcoRise audit grant, which is also in turn funded by a City of Austin grant called Bright Green Futures, which is open for Austin area educators if you're interested in applying. And so this is just a great way of how so many organizations can come together to support a campus sustainability project. And this was later in the year. I think it was in April or May. And so I think that this would have been amazing, like make your own action card if there wasn't one already to get but they did get their green flag even without this. That's how amazing Odom is. All right, and I'll go through this really quick. So successes and opportunities. Things that have been really successful are tying to district vision, board policy, and leadership buy-in. Our board president is a huge champion of outdoor learning and sustainability. We also have the campus improvement plans. Incentives and awards is always a great way to get students involved. Encourage teachers, staffs, and students that are already doing the work, because teachers and campus staff are the experts on on-campus happenings, so we really just want to support them. Coalition building with different departments and partners. And then one thing that we've really learned this year is simplifying and streamlining, which is why we're choosing the NWF EcoSchools platform to simplify and streamline our processes in data collection. Awesome. Here's my contact information. I'll put it in the chat too. But reach out to me if you have any questions and I would be happy to connect.
Thank you so much, Carsen, for sharing the vision for Austin ISD. Very briefly, I know we're very short on time, but I wanted to share with the action cards earlier, as you answer the questions and capture your specific metrics, it rolls up into this impact grid, which measures things such as hours of outdoor learning and youth engaged with the solutions for the planet. There you go. So this is how schools can demonstrate their quantitative impact over the year. This shows all the collective work of Fairfax County Public Schools, which is where Laure Grove is from, at the district level. And now I want you to watch as it changes to the impact for the state level in Virginia, and then onward to national. So this represents the collective impact of all EcoSchools in 2025. As more school teams participate and document their efforts, this annual collective impact will just continue to grow and grow. So I hope you will join us in that. And we'll go for any questions or turn things over to Sarah.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of quick announcements. I still have quite a few folks who I am still waiting on your names. I've private messaged you. So just a reminder, if we don't have your name, I cannot verify your attendance, and so you wouldn't be eligible for a CPE certificate. Also, I've put in the chat, and I'll repost it, our evaluation. Evaluation helps us share with our speakers how they did, and then helps us plan for future events. And then our next webinar is called OLE 12 Best Practices, and it is later this month on the 27th, and I'll put the registration for that there as well. Other than that, that is all I have. I'm going to leave the chat open for just a few minutes for those of you that I'm waiting on your last names so I can make sure that I get your information.
Okay. And while we have that chat open for a few, if you need to disconnect from the webinar at this time, that's fine. Otherwise, if you do have questions for Laure, Carsen, Kari, or Jennifer and I, please let us know.